Good evening. It's evening as I'm recording this. What time is it actually? It's very late, as in very, very close to the wire. It's 7:10 on a Monday evening. This podcast goes out at midnight. So, yeah, left it very, very close to the wire this week. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I did have an amazing guest lined up to go out, like to have as an episode to go out tonight. But we had to reschedule and we're actually recording tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, nothing was ready until tonight. And so I said to my podcast editors, don't worry about, like, didn't have an episode ready for them to edit at the end of last week. And I wasn't about to, you know, pluck something out my backside just for them to edit. So I said, don't worry, we'll leave it as it is. And I will come up with some inspiration over the bank holiday weekend, I am sure. And here we are. I got the inspiration last night in the middle of the night. You know, if I wake up, like my intuition that I get in the night is super, super strong. And I'm going to preface this, by the way, with something that hopefully will resonate and land well as a bit of a coaching point. And that is when you get a feeling, I'm not necessarily going to say intuition because I know that a lot of people who, like, when they start working with me, they can't work out what their intuition is, or like they don't trust it or anything like that. So when you get a thought to do something, if that thought feels good and that comes in and it feels good straight away, so often we dismiss ideas because our ego gets in the way, basically, and our ego will say, oh no, that's not good enough, or we'll just criticize that idea when that idea has actually come from your intuition, and that idea would be the thing that you should do. But yeah, so many times our intuitive nudges just end up on the floor, the cutting room floor, shall we say, and they just don't ever see the light of day, and that's because the ego gets in the way. So this came in to do, and it doesn't really set my world on fire in terms of what I'm going to share with you. But like I said, I'm not going to get in the way of that because it might really be just what you need to hear. And if you can hear my voice right now, it doesn't sound like me, does it? And yeah, I've not been very well yesterday. I think it's just a cold. Um, but yesterday I was really, really tired, not feeling well, achy, and all the rest of it. Had an hour long nap in the daytime and then just went to bed super early and slept so much. So I feel so much better today. But yeah, my voice isn't, something wrong with my voice. So we've got a cold. So we're going to do our best to do this episode. Thanks for bearing with my voice as it is. Hopefully it's going to hold out for the entire episode. But essentially, what I'm going to share with you is a post that I put out a few weeks ago on stories. It didn't ever make it onto my grid yet, but if you follow me on LinkedIn, you might have seen it on there. It made it to there, but I I remember feeling this day like I just didn't really have much to say, and that's fine. Like I never put content out from a place of need. Like if there's nothing flowing for me, there's nothing to say. I don't say anything because if you sit there and try and force yourself to share some wisdom or share something for your audience because you feel that you should, then the energy of that is pretty crap, to be honest. That's not going to be energetically charged like something that you put out there that comes from your inspiration. So um, I never ever put pressure on myself with my content whatsoever. So if you follow me on Facebook, for example, some days you'll see like up to 6 statuses. Like some days they just flow. And Facebook's where my intuitive nudges, they come in and they just go straight out on Facebook because I just type and then click enter. Like it's the easiest way. Or if feel inspired, I'll do an unedited podcast episode. But obviously, I need the time to be able to do that. So yeah, some days on Facebook, I'll just, I have up to 6 Facebook statuses because it's just flowing through me all day long. And then other days, nothing. I can't remember the past. Oh no, I did. I posted a Facebook status about half an hour ago, but that was the first one in a while. And yeah, so I never make myself feel wrong for not putting stuff out there because there's just no point. This is what I teach my clients as well. There's no point if you're doing it from a place of push, It's just not energetically charged. You're not speaking from your heart in the way that you would if you just take the pressure off and post what's on your heart. But obviously, you need to get rid of the limiting beliefs to be able to do that, to truly say what's on your heart rather than, um, fluffing it out to be more professional or dimming it down so you're not as, liberal with your words as you would be, kind of thing. Whatever, all of those things, they all matter. But my intention is really that this is not going to be half an hour because because it's not hurting to talk, but it's a bit of an effort. Just not my voice isn't just flowing in the same way. And I listen to my body. My body is telling me to rest. So talking and talking and talking is not honoring my needs. So I'm going to start this post. I'm basically going to read this post to you and ad lib here and there. Like if anything else comes in to add to it as we go along, then I will. But I'm not putting pressure on myself to do that. I've just accidentally clicked out. We are still recording. Phew. Okay, so this post came from a time when I didn't put pressure on myself to say anything. And that evening I had a bath and some like stuff just came in. So I just sat in the bath. And because I hadn't put any pressure on myself, this felt good to do. Like this always happens. So what I share with my clients too. When you do not put pressure on yourself to do anything, then you'll always bounce back so much faster because pressure is just resistance. And when there's resistance, you're not in alignment basically. So take off the pressure and it feels so much better. You just stay in alignment. What was I going to say then? Can't remember, it's gone. But yeah, so I shared this post while I was in the bath on stories, and then it made its way to LinkedIn, and that's as far as it got. So I'm hoping then that, it doesn't matter if you see it more than once. Like the brain needs to see lots of things lots of times for it to sink in. Oh my goodness. Okay, so number one, and this is precisely what my point was when I first started, like where this creativity came through, and that was, if you don't have anything to say to your community, then don't. Just leave it. Because a rushed, uninspired post will not have anywhere near the energetic charge that a post made from inspiration will. So there's just no need to push, no point to push. It just doesn't feel good. Okay, you just honor your needs. Put yourself before your business, and truly, like, honestly, the shifts that are happening in my client spaces are incredible when you truly put yourself first. It is amazing how free running a business can feel and the results that you're able to create because you are just so. I've talked about your highest timeline, but when you're honoring your needs and following your intuition, you end up reaching your highest timeline way faster than you could otherwise. Because when you're not following your intuition and you're not honoring your needs, you're not in alignment, and so there's resistance. So it slows down the timeline that it takes for you to get to what I call your highest timeline. Basically, that just means living your very best life, living out the soul's purpose that you have. Doing the business that would never ever feel like work. So for somebody who adores writing songs and singing, they say that they never work a day in their life because they're doing what they love. That's come from, we're watching the Ed Sheeran documentary at the moment, and it's just so true. Like, I can resonate with that so much. I love my work. It just doesn't feel like work. And that is very, a lot of people that I talk to, they love their work, but they don't like so much the marketing side of it or being visible. But you have to do that in order to get clients. But there's a way to do it in a way that does feel good, and that's doing the inner work so that you can truly feel good enough always, so that you don't feel pressured to do things a certain way, or you don't feel pressured to show up when it doesn't feel good. And a lot of the time, people, and you don't necessarily know that this is the reason why, but you end up working way more than you would like to because you don't actually feel safe not to work. It feels safer to be working than to step away from the business and relax. Okay, if you're working from a place of trauma drive, i.e., not feeling good enough, unless you're working, unless you're achieving, unless you're finishing the to-do list, then of course you're gonna not feel good resting or relaxing or just taking things at you in your own time. Like I have so much that I want to achieve in my business. And it's so beautiful to experience this like really really lovely mix of number one knowing my success is inevitable because my subconscious is programmed for that, so that's the reality that I'm creating. Number two, to not feel in a rush. If you've got trauma drive, this is where burnout comes from, because you never feel good enough unless you're working, so you're constantly working to seek validation, and to make things happen faster 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 because you don't trust that it's all going to be okay. Okay, you don't trust that you can create success whilst you're having fun and like doing it easily. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but easeful. Okay, there's a very big difference. And the difference is when you program your subconscious to create success with ease rather than with a struggle, that's where the game change happens, because it means that you can have 2 bank holidays in a row and then a holiday and like a lot of family time, and your conscious brain recognizes that this is the time that precious years with your family, and like really really soaking up these precious years. Your conscious brain can recognize that, but if your subconscious, the one that is governing your behavior all the time, that's the one that's in control. Even though you like to be spending more time with your kids, you can't, because you can't relax. Like, I'm just sort of like riffing here. This is the reality for a lot of people who I work with, or could do with this inner work, and that is that their kids and their family mean more to them than anything, but actually the reality is that they're ignoring them half the time because either they're working longer than they would like to be because they can't relax, they can't switch off, they don't feel safe when they're not working, so they'd rather be working even if they're on the point of burnout or coming very close to it. Or they aren't in the office working, but they're not present. They're out with the kids at the weekend, but they're snappy because they've got somebody who said yes to work with them, but they've not heard from them for a little while. So they're just, the brain is racing, the thoughts are racing, and that's because you don't feel safe. Okay, this inner work, and I'm massively going off on a tangent here. There is no way I'm going to get this episode done under 30 minutes, but it's really, really important to know that safety comes from within. This feeling of feeling free to know that your success is inevitable, but not feel in a rush to do anything. Okay. That feeling of total mental and emotional freedom, regardless of what's happening in your external reality, that comes from the inner work, creating that safety subconsciously and creating a program where you subconsciously believe that it's possible to create incredible success with ease, where you go out and you enjoy yourself and you come back and you have people out of the blue messaging you saying, I'd love to find out more about your work. How can I work with you? These messages that can happen out of the blue, if you've heard of them but never experienced them, then that is a sign that your subconscious is wired, is programmed for success must be a struggle. If you've never experienced that, such ease where you've got, this happened to me at the end of last month, the last day of the month. I had somebody book a discovery call out of the blue. And when I was on that discovery call, very, very last day of the month, I got a message from somebody who I know who's in a coaching program that I've worked with, that I'm in. And back in Lisbon, I saw something in this woman. This woman's incredible. And I knew that she has so much potential. Like, I can feel energy and I can just see the potential in people. It's just, I just knew that this woman was incredible, but she was massively in her own way. And I would love to have worked with her. And, I just remember thinking in my mind, I'd love to work with her because she truly does need to be unlocked to her to really do what she wants to do in the world. But that was months and months and months ago. And anyway, yeah, last day of the month, I was in a discovery call, came off that discovery call, and I had a message in my inbox from that woman saying, I want to speak to you. And she signed up, luckily I was free to jump on a discovery call like half an hour later. And she signed up to work with me. And it's amazing. Like, I'm just loving working with her. It's just total dream client out of the blue. And this is the magic. This is the magic of sub-programming your mind for success with ease and energetics and all of those intangible things that I talk about. It's not about struggle and creating your success your way. Like, no, there's so much else going on at play that we can't see. And so we have to trust. We don't have to, you can choose to trust, you can choose to um, believe and buy into this thing that I'm talking about all the time, the energy, the intangibles, like I do. And it's incredible. And my intuition's getting stronger and stronger every day. And it's just amazing. So, so amazing. Anyways, I need to crack on a little bit faster. Number 2, your behaviors are a clue to your subconscious patterns. So, for example, if you're never getting around to doing something that you know is important, or you're constantly in push energy at work, there's a reason, a subconscious belief. Otherwise, things would be different for you. And this is literally the case. Everything is happening for you to grow. Everything is a learning opportunity. So it's much, much better. And if you've been in my world for a while, I'm sure you've heard me say this multiple times. Life is happening for you rather than to you. So always get curious and know that you are co-creating your experience. You are manifesting things based on your subconscious programming. So if you're attracting a pattern, like if you're noticing a pattern in your life, then question that. Ask why. For example, clients not living up to your boundaries, for example. There's a reason. It's not them, it's you. It's always you, okay? Life is a mirror showing you things that could do with changing. The fastest way to change that is to change your subconscious programming. Do the inner work. Number 3, notice the stories that you tell yourself and challenge them. How are you playing small? What is holding you back? Have you, for example, decided to do a masterclass, set the date, and then decided to move that date a couple of times? Or have you decided that you would, start a Greek program? Or have you decided that you would, whatever it is, put your prices up and then chickened out on a discovery call, all of these things. Watch what you're doing, but do it with grace and kindness always. You want to be on your own team, but notice those stories that you're telling yourself. Notice the behaviors that the actions that you're taking. That is a clue. The more you can observe with compassion, grace, and kindness, the more you can observe yourself, the more you're going to have a clue as to what's going on subconsciously for you. And the more self-aware you are, the faster you can up-level and get closer to your highest timeline, okay? Next one. Stop giving your power away to people, circumstances, your human design, astrology, like all the things. Notice you are so powerful. You can be so empowered. And I actually had a conversation this week with one of my clients who, in my group program, she was really struggling. And she put a message out. And my reply to her, first off, was, remember how powerful you are. Remember that you have the answers and that, yes, I'm here to guide you, but I am not going to allow my clients to give their power away to me. I know in the coaching space that happens, and that is so common because it feels good. Yeah, it feels good to feel like you're saving your clients, but I'm sorry for the language. I know I haven't sworn on here for a while, but fuck that. It's so disempowering for you to show up in your space as a coach and allow that to happen. I really don't think it's for the best. So, and this, like, in my one-to-one spaces, I have WhatsApp support for my clients. And there is, like, it takes a while for them to really get to the place where they can reach out whenever, because a lot of our programming is often that we shouldn't ask for support, or, we should, they tell themselves stories basically. And I'm like, no, if you're going to get maximum effect out of this, you reach out whenever there's something going on, even if you don't know how to articulate. I will unpick it. I'll help you unpick it. But they don't need to worry. They do not ever need to worry that they're going to become codependent or anything like that, because I'm very, very aware. I have a very high level of emotional intelligence as well. And I'm never, ever going to let my clients give their power away to me. It's just so unhelpful. So if you ever find yourself, if you ever think about working with me, and once you do work with me, just know that I'm never going to allow that to happen. You are deeply powerful, all of you, as you're listening. And so I will coach in a way that allows you always to stay in your own power. And if I notice you trying to give it away to me, I will pass that back and I will show you what you're doing, and I'll make sure that you do stay in your own power, because it's the most important thing. Ultimately, my mission is for my clients, when they finish working with me, they don't actually need a coach. Okay, and that's really, really powerful to experience that, because yeah, it might be great for you to want a coach from a place of desire. It's always great. It's so good to be in coaching spaces, particularly group programs where there's a collective community. That energy is so powerful. It's amazing. But it's from a place of desire rather than a place of help me get unstuck. Okay. And the way I teach and the way I coach is to allow you to find your own answers and trust your intuition and build a tool set so that you can always get yourself unstuck and rely on your own internal compass. And so, yeah, my mindset is so strong, and I don't actually have mindset support. I do in my coaching space. There's weekly mindset calls. You know, the one that I'm a client in. But I've been in that coaching space for a year and a half now. I've turned up to about 2 calls, and you know, I've have access mindset support quite regularly on normal coaching calls, but generally my mindset is so strong, and that is because I walk my talk and I teach my clients to do it that way too. Okay, it's great to have support, but it's also very, very important that you stay in your own power and you're not giving your power away. Next one, be more grateful. Abundance is everywhere. And the sooner you realize and appreciate more what you already have, the quicker you will open yourself up to more blessings. Okay, so that's such a powerful point. I think if you can take one thing away from this episode, it's just to be more grateful. So grateful for everything, like your health, for example. Health is wealth. Okay, everything. There's so many reasons to be grateful, and sometimes, like, I don't always listen to my own subconscious audio, because sometimes I like to allow my own imagination to drift in like possible positive ways as I go to sleep. And often I will give myself a random number like 15, and I'll think of 15 things that I'm grateful for. And I'll quite often do that, you know, if I'm on my own and I'm driving or whatever, whenever, like, I will very often just in my mind use my thoughts to just be grateful. It's just a habit. I built it when I was struggling with infertility, when I basically got myself out of a really deep, dark space. And I did this real sort of inner work just through reading. And actually, I know I did have an amazing infertility support group that I went to. And I wasn't ready for a lot of the things that my mentor back then taught me. But, you know, now and the past few years, I find myself teaching what she taught me then, but it just didn't land back then. But I'm so grateful. I truly believe that our hardships are the making of us. I'm about to go down a big tangent. I can't. I haven't got time. But yeah, be more grateful. Like, honestly, if you're finding yourself, the stories that you're telling yourself in your mind, if you're you know, worrying about something not happening yet, like that's lack, right? You're focusing on why things haven't happened yet. You're focusing on lack. Nothing good can come of being in lack. So get yourself back to an abundant mindset. You already have an amazing life, okay? So notice it, soak it up, feel more abundant, and good things can come from that. Next one. Watch your language. This is sort of a bit tied in, exactly the same kind of thing, because we get more of what we are, not what we want. So it's the tones of your language, the kind of language that you're using is like need, try, want, can't, should, only, might. It's all quite disempowering language, and our words carry energy. And if we are using disempowered language, it's not feeling good. It's quite a low vibration, and we get more of what we are, not what we want. So focus, really try and watch the language that you're using, and move away from it. And especially like if you find yourself moaning, stop. Like check your privilege, for example, and get some perspective. Try not to moan. As much as you can. Be grateful and be positive. It's not about toxic positivity. It's not about not feeling your feelings. Like, I'm aware I always need to say this if I've just said what I've just said. But, it's important to feel your feelings, but it's also important to recognize what you already have, because when you're focusing on the good things, you're training your brain to be more positive, and that trains your brain to be more resilient. And just a positive mindset is of a higher vibration. You are going to get to your highest timeline when you raise your vibration more frequently. Okay. So, positive mindset is the way forwards. No matter who you are, what walk of life you're coming from, what age you are, anything, positive mindset is so, so key. Next one, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be you. Enough said. Next one, always treat yourself with grace and kindness. So if you can get to the place where the relationship you have with yourself is great, then your relationship with others will become much easier and more enjoyable. Because if you're judging and being critical and finding fault in others, that is just a sign that you're doing that to yourself. So when you can learn to love yourself and not find fault in yourself and not criticize yourself and just have a far more positive dynamic going on in your thoughts, that is just the gateway to a much happier, more harmonious, peaceful life, because there's just more peace and harmony and less drama, less being triggered. Like, I very rarely get triggered these days. It's because I've done so much work on myself. Um, the more inner work you do, the less reason there is to be triggered. So, like, for example, this morning, one of my daughters was just absolutely losing her shit with me. She basically wanted an extra pot of dry Cheerios on her cereal. She'd already had one. And I said, okay, happy to get that for you, but I'm going to eat my cereal first. Like, I'm not at their beck and call. They need to learn to, I'm not at their beck and call, and I've got my cereal to eat. So happy to do that for you, my love, but I'm going to go after my cereal. And she wasn't happy with that. And so I said, well, okay, you've got two choices. You can go down and get that yourself now, or you can wait for mummy to finish her cereal. She didn't like it. And it's okay for her to kick off. I parent in the way that's like validating their emotions. It's okay for them to not like what I'm saying. So yeah, she was not happy about it at all. And that's okay. Like, I stayed calm, and it went on for a good 15 minutes. I even got too close at one point, and she was so frustrated. And at this age, they completely lose their shit, completely in survival mode. So she cannot help hitting me. And she doesn't do this very often, but only when she's properly lost her shit. But I got too close and didn't catch her on time. She hit me in the face. And again, I was able to stay calm and just held her arms. And I was like, I'm not going to let you hit me. It's okay to be upset, but I'm not. I'm not changing my mind. I'm going to go down and get you that after I finish my cereal, or you can go now. Anyways, it didn't stop. I finished my cereal and I went down and got it, and then she was okay after that. But then she got upset over something a little bit after that, and that's by that point her stress bucket is so full, and she just needed a cuddle. So I said, "Do you want a cuddle?" And she did, and she sobbed a little heart out. And we had a nice cuddle, and I was just so proud of myself because I was able to hold that space in a very calm way. And I know my daughter so well. She will have felt so bad for hitting me. And that she's carried that with her for the day, and she'll process that in her sleep tonight, and she'll be fine about it. But I didn't need to make it any worse for her by shouting at her or making her feel bad. She knows that that was a bad thing to do, and she felt bad for it. So she gave her a lovely cuddle, and she managed to get on with the day just fine. But that is only possible. Like, it's only possible for me to parent that way because I've done so much work on myself. And yeah, if you get triggered, it's just a sign of some inner work to do. It's impossible. Okay, I let it go over half an hour, didn't I? Oh dear, not honouring my needs. Oh well. You are loved, guys. I love you out there. Right, where did I get to? Yeah, I was saying it's not possible to stay that calm. Like, pet kids are so triggering because they show up for you what needs to be healed. And it's not possible to stay that calm if you're being triggered. And I'm not saying it's easy. Like, I coped very well this morning. I was really, really proud of myself. But other days, later on in the day when it's happened more times than not, or if I'm tired or not feeling well, like I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm more sure at other times. But this morning I was exactly what she needed, and I was really proud of myself. Why am I saying this? Oh yeah, so it's just about the healing work. The more healing or the more inner work you do on yourself, the less you get triggered and the more harmonious life becomes, because it's just about peace and joy. Like, for me, for example, peace and joy most of the time. Yeah, I've got hormones. I'm a woman. Like, Tom's listening to this, probably thinking, bullshit, Jenna, you're a really cow half the time. Disagree, Tom. But yes, I do have hormones. And sometimes I'm a little bit irritable, and I recognize that, and I apologize for that sometimes. But it's not about being perfect. It's about getting to a place where you can just enjoy your life and enjoy the relationship that you have with yourself. Okay. So yeah, number 8, always treat yourself with grace and kindness. Number 9, despite what you think, you really do have all the answers. I love this one. They come from within. You just need to learn to trust yourself. And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier when I said about I don't let my clients give their power away to me. I often as well ask them, what do they think they should do? And they do quite often, very often have the answers. It's just they don't trust themselves, or they're a bit scared of the answer that comes out, and that's their intuition. And then we work through that fear. But yeah, you do need to learn to trust yourself, because your intuition is coming from your higher self. And if you follow every single intuitive nudge, you're going to get to your highest timeline. I know it's hard because limiting beliefs get in the way. And there's obviously work to do so that your nervous system feels safe to follow your intuition and to trust yourself. But you do have all the answers. You really do. Number 10, reflect on what's been good in your day every single day. Your brain is designed to be negative, okay? Your brain only cares about your survival, in the sense that it's not had an update since the caveman days. So your subconscious brain is always looking for a reason to keep you alive, like always looking for the tiger coming around the corner. And because your brain can't tell the difference between real and imagination, you can turn your fight or flight response on just with your thoughts. So it's really important to have a positive mindset, and to, like, your brain is neuroplastic, okay? That means that it can change. Just with changing your habits, you can change the wiring of your brain so that you shift that balance away from automatic negativity, and you can change it to automatic positivity. Building a habit of looking out for the good is what will do this. And what you focus on, you get more of. So if you train your brain to look for the good things, then guess what? Your brain is going to see the good things. And I am far more positive than the average person, to the point where negativity gets on my nerves, like pointless negativity gets on my nerves. My tolerance to negativity is pretty low, because just just don't see the point in it. Like, it brings you down, it affects your immune system, and we just allow ourselves to be overly negative if we're not aware of this kind of thing. The brain's designed to be negative, so we spend time being negative, and then we spend time with other people who are negative, and it's just this constant low vibe thing. and you end up not getting the best out of your life because guess what? You're just being negative. So the way to turn it around is to train your brain to be more positive, and then your vibration will be higher, and then you'll just, I know I'm making it sound ridiculously easy. It's not as simple as this. There's a lot of work to be done to get rid of your limiting beliefs and to have that courage to follow those intuitive nudges, even if it's really scary. But it can be done. Absolutely, it can be done. But it starts with a positive mindset. So yeah, reflect on what's been good in your day every single day. And one of my clients actually recently, she's had a few hard weeks, and um this week just gone on our call, she was like, she'd had an amazing week. Things had turned a corner for her. And one of the things that she recognizes is that she'd been doing her positivity journal again. So she'd let it slip. And it really is a game changer. It's just noticing what's been good all the time. And yeah, you can get to you could get to a place where you don't need to write down what's been good at the end of your day. Like, I don't do that, but I do it in my mind. I reflect on what's been good, and I'll often, like when I'm getting the girls ready for bed. This is a parenting hack if you need one for kids, preschool kids. Like if you keep them engaged, they're less likely to find a reason to stall. So often when I'm getting them ready for bed, I'll recap the day and I talk about, all the fun things we've done. Um, and it works. It works a dream because they're listening to you. So they're just sort of subconsciously putting their legs in their pajamas and just getting ready. Um, rather than, if there's no conversation, they're looking for a reason to stall because they don't want to go to bed. Anyways, yeah, and also by doing that, I'm teaching them just by modeling every single day to recap what's been good today. It's really nice. I love how what I do is just being passed on to them sort of naturally. It's really good. Anyways, so yeah, I said I'm actually just going to read out the call to action at the bottom of this post because, oh, running out of steam. It's supposed to only be 30 minutes long, but I kept on going. So it says, all these things, all the things I've said so far in the podcast, all these things are possible by working on it yourself. But it takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes effort, along with the ability to stop and notice self sabotage. Because here's the thing, your brain doesn't want you to change. So the wiring that it has is in the subconscious mind, and that is protected. It's very hard to change your subconscious wiring. And this is why self sabotage is such a common problem, because you can consciously decide, right, I'm going to change this thing, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to write down what's been good every single day. But then after a while, you'll fall off the bandwagon and you won't do it because your subconscious doesn't really care for you being happier or more confident or achieving your dreams or achieving your vision of success with ease. Nope, your subconscious doesn't care about that. Your subconscious just wants to keep you doing what it's already doing because that is safe. Anything different represents a risk. Okay, so this is why self-sabotage is such a problem. But when you are more self-aware and you notice your self-sabotage, then you can be more effective in your change. Okay, so yeah, time, consistency, and effort, along with a high level of self-awareness, you can change these things. And then I said, but if you want more for yourself in your life, you want more from your business, from with ease and flow and more joy, like if you literally want to reach your next level with ease, then the subconscious reprogramming is the thing that's going to help you do that. Because if you're running the program of success needs to come with a struggle at the moment, then that is literally going to be your reality. Or if you believe subconsciously that you're not worthy of achieving your dreams or doing, like, working with the most amazing clients, then that's going to be your reality. If you don't believe you're worthy, then you're not going to allow it to happen. Your subconscious mind is literally looking for the evidence of what you believe to be true all of the time. Hence why your reality is the way it is it's a reflection of your programming. So when you change your subconscious programming, then boom, change happens, and change can happen really, really fast. I am also, just last thing to say, I'm also aware that a lot of people have it on their radar that I will do the subconscious reprogramming. That sounds good. I will do that when. I will do that when. When I've reached my first 10K month or whatever. Well, let me put it to you now. If you get on and do it sooner rather than later, it's going to be the game changer for you. It's going to allow that success to come so much more easily. And you do not need to get to a certain place in your business before you deem yourself worthy of investing in this work. I've worked with business owners who are building their business and still working in their day job. And in actual fact, one of my current clients has literally just a couple of days ago, handed her notice in because she's earning, well, she's ready. She knew she was going to do it as soon as she invested in with me, invested to work with me. She decided that she was going to do that and she's done it. And it's just amazing. It feels so amazing to support people at that place in their journey as well, to creating that success faster than they thought possible. So wherever you are in your journey as an entrepreneur at the moment, then you are worthy of doing this inner work. And so if it feels like something that you are ready for, or even just curious about, then you can just allow yourself to say, yes, I'm worthy. I'm going to message Jenna, and do it now before the brain sabotages you. And if you need a keyword to message me because the brain is going to make it hard and then not do it, literally, if you need a keyword to send me a DM, then do it. This is the only time I've ever used this. DM me the keyword Jenna Unedited, and I will know that you've come directly from this episode. So there's your call to action, my loves. I'm now going to rest my voice. I've also just seen a WhatsApp message from Tom come through saying your dinner is ready. So thank you so much, Tom, for cooking your dinner. I can actually smell it. I don't know what it is, but it smells good. And thank you for listening. I will see you next week. It will be an episode with the guest that I mentioned earlier on. I'm really excited. We are recording it tomorrow and she is amazing. So watch out for that next week. Hope you're well wherever you are. I'm going to stop waffling and actually end this now. Thank you so much for listening. See you all soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Bigger Than You podcast with your host, Jenna Holloway. If this episode has been valuable to you, please share it with a friend or leave a review.